Welcome to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcast on regulating digital gatekeepers.
The European Union has unveiled an ambitious plan to regulate digital gatekeepers and ensure that markets impacted by them remain fair and competitive for innovators, businesses and new market entrants.
A move that is likely to have far-reaching implications for the EU's digital economy. Want to know more? Stay with us.
Nowadays, it is online platforms that drive the economy and social activity worldwide. Nothing wrong with that, if it weren't because a very few large online platforms account for a very large share of the digital economy in Europe.
And their role as gatekeepers between businesses and consumers with economic power and control over the entire digital ecosystems makes it very challenging for rivals and new market entrants to compete.
So, what is the European Union doing about this?
Well, here's the exciting news. At the same time it engaged a series of antitrust proceedings against digital giants such as Google and Amazon, the European Commission began reflecting on how to modernise competition rules to make them fit for the digital age.
As part of this process, the Commission proposed the introduction of ex-ante regulation for large online platforms acting as gatekeepers. So, instead of acting after a market distortion to correct the problem, this time the Commission wants to make things clear from the start and provide upfront clarity about what behaviour towards users and competitors will be considered acceptable.
Now, the introduction of an ex-ante regulation that could limit online platforms' commercial freedom and beef up regulators' enforcement powers is a far-reaching step. So what are the pros and cons? Stay with us.
Well, here are some of the expected benefits. It will speed up public intervention and prevent situations that could hamper competition before they actually occur. It will increase market transparency, and it will provide regulators with the tools to ensure, for instance, that competition is not distorted by the control of data, which is at the core of the digital economy.
More upfront clarity would also give business users of platforms a boost of confidence to innovate and invest. So the expected benefits are clear, but what are the possible drawbacks?
Well, applying ex-ante rules to a sector that moves extremely fast and where digital platforms adopt a variety of business models can prove extremely challenging and lack the necessary flexibility and adaptability which could hamper innovation.
Another serious challenge is to identify which online gatekeepers will be subject to the new regulation. So will this be determined by size, and will size be based on number of users, on profits, or will market share be determined by more qualitative criteria, such as a platform's ability to control access to a large number of users or its access to data?
Well, there's certainly a lot of debate around this, but there are other challenges ahead. Stay with us.
Another major challenge is to define from the start what practices will be outlawed and what obligations should be placed on gatekeepers. Now, there's several ways of doing this. One is to come up with a list of blacklisted practices. Another is to impose tailor-made remedies such as data portability and interoperability on a case-by-case basis.
And now the next big question is, how should the new rules be enforced?
Some have proposed a new EU agency to enforce the new rules. Others, however, prefer to leave it within the hands of a digital gatekeeper task force within the European Commission. Furthermore, effective enforcement must keep pace with the fast market dynamics at play in the digital sector and the cross-border nature of the digital economy.
So, what do stakeholders have to say?
Well, many digital rights associations and the European Consumers Organisation favour the imposition of ex-ante regulation on platforms.
But tech giants have warned about the potentially negative effects of the new rules and call for an in-depth analysis of the digital markets before deciding on any new measures.
So there'll be heated discussions ahead. What's sure is that this is one of the EU's most daring attempts to radically transform the regulatory landscape for the digital services. So stay tuned.
You're listening to the European Parliamentary Research Service podcasts.